shit's in the safe. Got me a spot out the way. Nigga just tryna be safe.
Let's get to a sports talk.
This was, as it turns out, it was a trap game. They got outplayed, as Sean Payton said afterwards, in every facet of the game, including outcoached. This is probably what they needed. I am not worried about the Saints. They'll be fine.
You should be worried. And here's the reason why. It's a couple of reasons. Number one, that left guard. I mean, I think it's Austin Peter. I think that's his name. And then Will Clapp was another. They gave up 3 sacks between them. They didn't protect. Drew Brees got sacked 6 times. That's some vulnerability there. That's number one. Number two, here's the deal. You can say they just took it for granted. Atlanta comes in the game 1-7. But these are the Atlanta Falcons. This is a team, this is the number one rivalry for New Orleans. You get up for this game. The fact that you did it in this particular situation, I don't give a damn what their record is. Who that nation, all that stuff. There's very little things that they love more than beating up the Falcons. I'm telling you that right now. It matters to those folks. I was at the Super Bowl last year, for crying out loud, between New England and LA in Atlanta. Let me tell you something. You had a whole bunch of people rolling in Atlanta wearing Saints jerseys, and you had a whole bunch of folks in Atlanta that had major problems. That stuff is real down there. That's number two. Number three, what have we said about the New Orleans Saints? And I know it's Kamara game back. He only had about 4 carries for about 24 yards, something like that. He'll get it going. Drew Brees was dipping and dunking, couldn't make. Only threw 1 pass for about 22 yards. Outside that, wasn't really effective. Was missing throws. His timing was off, etc.
The Saints' problem is they need to fix that left guard problem. And they need another wide receiver. Games like this could happen. It can't just be Michael Thomas. They need Smith to set up and to step up, and cook. But they need another wide out. That shows you right there that they don't have another wide receiver besides Michael Thomas. That's it. They need someone else to throw it to. And then they can't get really separation like that either. They ain't really getting no separation from nobody. And there was a drop passes in that game. And the offensive linemen's getting pushed back. It's like it was just a lot of things going on with the Saints yesterday. But it's only Michael Thomas that could catch the pass. He the only wide receiver they have. They don't have nobody outside of him. And plus, nobody can really get open like that.
We get all of that, but what is it that we say about New Orleans that we have to pay attention to? We believe in them because we believe that the road to the Super Bowl was going through New Orleans. That Mercedes-Benz don't. If it got to go through Lambeau Field, if it's got to go through San Francisco, where the hell do they play? I keep forgetting where they play because it ain't in San Francisco. It's about an hour. Santa Clara, right? Because I had to drive it out when that damn traffic. It ain't San Francisco. You don't know where it is. I don't know where the hell it's going.
It's a brand new stadium.
And I know I'm passing Google or whatever.
Yeah.
That I know, all right? Because I got stuck in that damn traffic. But I'm telling you right now, you got to go there. You have to go to Lambeau Field.
Yep.
You have a problem. And that's why this is a big deal. It's not a matter of it being a regular season loss earlier on. It's a matter of right now, when you know which teams are expected to be there competing for a berth to the Super Bowl, who has that home turf matters in most situations. If you Lambeau Field, why does it matter? Because you're expecting a blizzard, okay? If you got to deal with Aaron Rodgers in a blizzard. If you got New Orleans, you got to go to that dome, and you're wondering about that. It's been done. LA did it last year, but it's not easy. If you've got to go with San Francisco with their defense and their running game, both components, which is real, it's a problem. New Orleans losing this game puts them in line not to have home turf, and as a result, I think that's where it's costing.
Dan, can I ask you one thing? They've been the only sure bet we felt like this whole season. Obviously, we talk about parity in the NFL, but really, I'm not trying to be cliche. Are they even a sure bet now at this point as a lock to the Super Bowl?
No.
Oh, no, not because the NFC, we came into this season saying this was going to be the best NFL season in a long time because of the parity. So, no, they're not a lock. They're still one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the NFL. Stephen A. took my points because 2 things could be true. this is a brutal loss for them against the Falcons when it comes to home field advantage. On a night when Green Bay and Minnesota won, it is a brutal loss. That being said, it is not a loss that exposes them or kind of shows their flaws or whatever. You know how many times Drew Brees and Sean Payton at home have scored less than 10 points? One.
Yeah.
Happened yesterday. Like, something happened yesterday that has never happened in their relationship or time together. So that's why, like, they were just bad. They couldn't get off the field on third down. Lattimore went out for a little
penalties.
bit. 11 penalties. They couldn't stay on the field on third down offensively. So, yes, the movie.
What do you chalk it up to?
Jamie Foxx's movie. Any given
Sunday. Got it.
Well, you say Jamie Foxx. I prefer to say Al Pacino. I really beaming. You know,
That's what I mean.
I'm just saying. I always tease him about that. That LL, Al Pacino, my brother Bill Bellamy. Let's not forget him. Dennis Quaid. Let's not forget these people.
But you talk about any given Sunday.
It is any given Sunday. When you take a team lightly, they wanted more than the Saints yesterday. Saints ain't wanted more yesterday. Too many penalties. Couldn't get off a third down. Couldn't stay on the field. Couldn't move the football. Couldn't get in the end zone yesterday. They only kicked field goals. Falcons defense showed up finally in this game because they know it was a rival game. The Saints looked past them, and the Falcons seen that and took advantage and got their second win. This is not going to be an everyday thing. It can happen to the best of them. Saints going to be all right. Saints going to be whoever next. The offense gonna be right back how they played. You can't look past a team because of their record. Because you look past them, this is what could happen. They can win the game against you. But I'm gonna keep saying this. The Saints need another wide receiver that can step up for them. And you gotta get off the corners. You gotta freaking create separation as well. And they gonna have to fix that left guard problem. Cause you can't have that going forward. They ain't the lot to win the Super Bowl. But they get enough to get there though. But they don't have home field advantage. Right now, it looks like they got to travel to to Lambeau or San Francisco. But when you look past the team, this is what can happen.
This is what you look at. When I say it's just one of these freaky things, and Sean Payton's a great coach, Super Bowl winner, gonna be in the Hall of Fame, like all these kind of things, and like all the penalties, right? Like every single facet of the game. They were favored by 13.5.
Yeah.
They lost by 17. That is a swing of almost 4 touchdowns and a field goal. That's the swing between what we thought was going to happen and what happened. That even in a freaky kind of NFL season, usually it's not a 4 touchdown plus difference in what we thought.
But 3 things. This is why Stephen A's point is important when it comes to home field, because this is one of those games where you go into week 17 of the NFL season and everyone's going to be talking about going, man, you remember that game they lost at home that they have to win this week to secure home field advantage, or maybe it won't even matter?
We think there's going to be a lot of one-loss teams.
Hold on, Max Dan.
They have more than
one
one
loss. Hold on, both of y'all.
They have 2.
Hold on, both of y'all. I'm going to go to your point to buffer my point even more. Repeatedly, you have lamented the fact that it's 2 different Saints teams. One that's at home and one that's on the road. Because the Saints team that shows up on the road, particularly in pivotal games, isn't the same as the one we customarily see in that dome in New Orleans. So now we amp that up. What are we talking about? If you go to Green Bay, you're talking about, but I'm not thinking about Minnesota because that's a dome, and even though it's a road game, it's still a dome.
I'll address what you're saying.
What I'm saying is when you're talking about Green Bay, You're talking about inclement weather or freezing temperatures and having to go up against Aaron Rodgers with improved defense. And if you're talking about going against San Francisco, we all know that when you look at New Orleans, even though we didn't suspect that they were susceptible to the run, they were susceptible to the run in the first half yesterday. But we look at them and we say, okay, you got to go up against a running game and you got to go up against an elite defense on the road. Those are two impediments.
Let me address that. You know, run the ball, stop the run. Can you do those things? If you can run the ball and you can stop the run, you can play on the road. And especially, obviously, it indicates that your defense is playing with passion up front. The Saints, as I have repeatedly...
That show you in this league. Field goals ain't gonna win it. Unless you're playing a weak offense. Then again, it can help you win some games. But this shows you right here, you have to put up points. It don't matter who you playing. If you only can put up field goals, you can't win the game really like that. It just the Falcons had a number yesterday. It come down to who won it more. It don't matter what game you playing. It don't matter what the team record is. Who won it more on that field? The Falcons did. Because they know the Saints won't really worry about them like that. They gonna have some things to fix. But they gonna be alright. Still be a top team. But you can't have these mishaps when you try to get home field advantage. You don't want to try to win the playoffs. You want the teams to come to you and have them playing that dome against you. Now you might have to travel to one of them teams and play them at their home.
Mentioned over the last couple years, when I look at the dynamic offensive teams, the teams that are capable of putting up big points, the reason to like the Saints is among that group, they actually have a run defense. And because of Kamara, they can run the ball, not always between the tackles, but they can move the ball on the ground. So I think they play on the road a little like asking Drew Brees to be a game manager. He can do that on the road. I'm a little more optimistic in terms of their potential success on the road, having seen what they did with Bridgewater in Drew Brees' absence, than I was, say, last year. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live